Positive, negative, optimistic, pessimist. Those, or maybe a balance. Lots of thoughts. Anyways, I just wonder, are you a positive or negative, optimist or pessimist, or a little bit of combination of everything? And what I mean by that is you can be a positive, but see still in reality, if that makes sense. You see what's going on in the world, but it's what you do to try and facilitate a change. Because if you want change, it only can come from you. And is it a learned behavior, or is it somewhat in your genes as well? I am a positive. I think everybody knows that. I look for the good in everything and everybody. But I'm also a realist. I do see things around me that I may or may not like. And it's not certain people. I just want to say that out there. It's just behaviors and that kind of stuff. Or the path that they've had to walk and the changes that need to be made to help them. Anyways, me growing up, my mom was a positive, a great positive. And I didn't realize how much until after she passed. I always knew it, but I don't think you really recognize some things as you're growing up. Her dad, my grandfather, was also a positive. I think her mom, my nan, was a little bit of both, but life threw stuff at her too. I'm not saying my granddad didn't have stuff thrown at him. He did, but in some ways it was different, and it's how people handle those things that are thrown at them. My dad is an optimist. He tries to help everybody, but I think he uses his optimism and his positivity to not deal with his own stuff. It's his cover. It's his way of dealing or internalizing all the shit he's been through in his life. I can't remember if his mom was a positive or an optimist or not. She passed when I was 12. I loved her, I adored her, but I don't remember enough to tell you which way she was. She also dealt with lots of traumas in her lifetime, like losing her husband really young due to injuries in the war and stuff. So, you know what? And it does come up to upbringings and what you've dealt with and how you handle it and what resources are available, and if you choose to take advantage of those resources. So it's really blurred. So I also look at my husband, who's very much a negative, and his mom is a negative. They tend to focus on the negative parts of their life before they can reach for the positive. My husband is trying, but my mother-in-law, from what I've been told, and she wasn't really like this when I first got together with my husband. She was a little bit more happy, more go-lucky, but again, there's been a few rough years for her. And it's like with her mom passing, and then my brother-in-law, his overdose, his drug use and stuff, and he's recovered, he's healthy, he's sober, he's fantastic. And having to help mother his children instead of being a grandma. So there's all sorts of things that have created this negativity in her life that she's kind of stuck in. I do see her trying to come out of it. She's a lot more relaxed, and she's a lot more, now that she doesn't have Jim and the kids at home, he's moved out, her life is getting a little bit better, except for her dog and my father-in-law both aren't well, but she is trying to embrace more of the positives of her days, though she does tend to still focus on the negative. My husband focuses on the negative, just because I think that's just partly who he is. He does find the positives. He does have joy. He does want to make some changes. But he's just, I don't know if it was his first marriage. And you know, there is certain things with certain aspects of married couples. They tend to focus on the negatives in each other instead of the positives, which I find is really strange. Why would you marry that person? But anyways, and you know, that banter, like it was always like, oh, bitching and complaining about your spouse and stuff. So I don't know if that's just a carryover from that or what. But he's working on it. You know what? He does find joy in every one of his days. He is trying to focus more on that. So you can change. So anyways, through all my babble, I just wonder what everybody else is and what your thoughts are on being positive, because I do think positivity and optimism can be two different things, and same with negativity and pessimist. I'm positive optimist, but in reality, if that makes sense. I do see things around me. I don't ignore the negative, but I choose to focus on the positive in people and see what I can do to help change the world to make it easier for everybody. And it takes small changes because our world is screwed up right now. But everybody has gone their own path, and you don't know what people have been through. I don't think violence is the answer, but we do need to start looking more into mental health. I'm big on that right now. And I think it should be mandatory all the way through your life. You got to do your yearly mental checkup. If you need more, then you do more. But we need to end the stigma that it's not okay to be not okay. And, you know, like it's just, I've done a lot of work on myself and I'm proud of it. I know there's certain parts of my life, like I've been through shit and back, and I use it as my fuel. I use it as, oh my God, I made it here. And honestly, there was a time that if I hadn't done a certain thing, like my surgery, I wouldn't be here right now. And I know that. My car accident could have been a lot worse, and I may not have been here. So I've had those life-turning moments that have made me realize how precious life is. Losing my brother so young, losing my mom so young, again, made me realize how precious life is. So that's why I'm a positive and an optimist. So I'd love to hear your comments. So, you know what? It'd be nice if some people started to like and subscribe. I've never asked that before, but I'm really trying my best. I'm not perfect, and I never will be. You will not see, I'll be goofy, I'll screw up, I'm just going to be authentically me and whatever pops in my head. So sometimes you may shut my video off, sometimes you might watch it all the way through. But whatever you do, smile, be kind, and spread your sparkle.